Welcome to Wealthy Muslim Woman Podcast, a resource for Muslim women to learn about money, how to create it, grow it, and to protect it. Money's easy. All that's needed is the right mindset. I'm your host, Dr. Saima Ali, with life coaching tools to truly help you create wealth in all areas of your life. Hello friends, how have you been? I hope everybody has been great and thriving through 2021, a new year, new decade. And what's most amazing is that the vaccine is here. How awesome is that? As of today, most of my family members have been able to get the vaccine, which feels pretty amazing. My grandmother in Pakistan got the Chinese vaccine. My parents and my sister in Brooklyn got the Moderna. My husband and I got Moderna very early on, being healthcare workers back in December and January. And I just read today that either the Pfizer or the Moderna got approved for adolescents at the age of 12 to 15. And hopefully soon we will have vaccine for 6 months and above. There's a lot of trials going on for that, so hopefully it'll get approval soon. I've been MIA because of the delivery. I was pregnant. I had my baby, my third baby. And it's been a little rough patch because we ended up getting corona at the end of December. It was so crazy. I had already received the email to schedule my vaccine, being a physician, and a week before we ended up testing positive for corona. I thought it was my husband who brought it home, so I almost killed him, but he survived and we're all doing okay. And it was literally 10 days before I had my baby, so I was just so worried about all the complications and everything that could go wrong. And since then, we did get the vaccine as well. And with the vaccine, I had a pretty significant side effects. I think those who've had corona get more side effects than those who have not, because your immune system has already seen something similar to this before, so it has a strong reaction to it. So that was another couple of days that were taken away. And now I am back at work, working 3 days a week, which has been an amazing change, getting to see adult people and just being outside and away from home. It has been really good. Anyways, I thought we'll start with the podcast again as well. And for the first episode, we will talk about cryptocurrencies. The digital asset market has been going crazy. The Bitcoin went up from $6,000 to over $60,000 over the last couple of months. Now, it is a very volatile market, but I don't think it's something that we should ignore or not discuss and maybe invest in. So I really wanted to learn more about it. As you know, I am very conservative with my investments. I like to keep my money in the mutual funds or ETFs and see how it grows, but I do like to put some money in assets that may do well or may not do well at all. So since I'm not very educated, since I'm not very familiar with the cryptocurrency market or digital assets market, I reached out to a friend. So I spoke with Ayesha Kiani. We actually went to college together, and when we got back in touch recently, she told me how she was working with cryptocurrencies. So she is actually a VP as business development at LedgerPrime, which is a hedge fund mostly focusing on digital assets. But not only that, she is also teaching at NYU Tendon School of Engineering as an adjunct professor, and she is teaching courses on blockchain and the distributed ledger technology, which all sounds like a foreign language to me. So I asked her very, very basic questions. I really asked her to explain the whole cryptocurrency thing at a very basic third grade level person. And hopefully it all makes sense to you as well. I really enjoyed this talk. And I think I'll ask her if she could do another talk for us, either as a live on Facebook or another podcast. So, whatever questions come up after listening to this, please let me know what they are and I'll try to get her back. So, I'll stop talking now and I'll tune in to the talk that we did just recently on cryptocurrencies.
So I'll start by, so Aisha, like I've known you since, college. So thank you so much for doing this. Can you tell us a little bit about your job and what you do and how you are involved with the cryptocurrencies?
Sure. So I work at LedgerPrime. We are a quantitative hedge fund, just like traditional hedge funds. There are hedge funds in cryptocurrencies also that only strictly trade these digital assets. Prior to this, I was at Republic, which is an AngelList company. But overall, I've been in this blockchain landscape past 5 years or so, and it really took off. It was taking off when I joined. So between 2015 to 2016, that's when companies had started to put their minds together and, seeing that what can they do about it. Bitcoin came into being like 2009. That's when the first block was launched. But Ethereum, which is actually the reason behind the entire crypto movement, came around in 2015 or so. So that's when, all of these companies started coming into play, raising capital, working on Web3 solutions. But for the fund, we invest, we trade these digital assets. But aside from that, I also teach at NYU Tendon, which is the School of Engineering, blockchain and DLT. DLT stands for Distributed Ledger Technology. And it's a permanent course now. I just started last year. They've made it permanent. And in a few months or so, along with few departments, we will be pushing out more academic research on this topic.
Wow, that's very impressive. I didn't know it had advanced so much where there are multiple companies now involved and even being taught at a university like NYU as the next thing. That's pretty fascinating.
So I was the first person to do it at NYU Tandon. Stern teaches a business levels course along with law school, why smart contracts could become the law. But MIT, Berkeley, and Stanford has been at it since 2018, 2019.
Wow.
So we're still getting to it. And I mean, I would touch upon this today too. It's a $1 trillion market at this point. As I mentioned, only on like 200,000 or 300,000 professionals. So, and they all are heads down, developing, trading, working, building solutions. So, yep, it's been growing exponentially, but we don't make as much noise as like other industries, I guess.
Maybe you don't need to the way it's going.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're just gonna keep our heads down, stay at it, and just work and work and work.
Yeah. Is your company also behind the wallet that's out there for crypto sake?
No, Ledger. No.
Ledger. Okay, no, it's different.
That's something separate. Yeah.
Okay. And what is the requirement for investing with your hedge fund if somebody wanted to start there?
So, I mean, it basically, first of all, we like our LPs to have an understanding of crypto because it's a very volatile asset. So you could just lose everything tomorrow, like any traditional asset. Mm-hmm. But there is a minimum LP requirement, and that's basically about it. The fact that we are still a smaller fund as compared to like Pantera or Galaxy, which are bigger than us, we kind of have developed a relationship with our LPs. Mm-hmm. So that's why, we like to get involved with people that are very passionate about it or, would want us to take risk with their portfolios.
Yeah. What does LP stand for? I'm like totally new to this.
LP, limited partners.
Okay. So somebody who wants to start investing
Invest in a fund. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So I am totally new to this cryptocurrency, like most people. So can you tell us what exactly is cryptocurrency and all these different types at a really basic level?
So the way we have for USD, which is paper money, like we see, the joke is the printer keeps on printing, especially these days. Cryptocurrency is going to be a digital currency. It's a digital currency. So you and I don't get to physically hold it, but I can purchase things from it. I can trade it. I can trade it for other assets. So it's just the next form of currency at this point, like going digital.
Yeah, and I feel like even the regular money that we used to have, we're kind of switched over to digital platform anyway. Like we don't really use, paper money these days, and it's mostly like showing your phone, like scanning your phone when you're checking out at the grocery store, or even with the credit cards, and even when making purchases online. But I guess one thing is that the currency that we are using is by a certain government backed by, let's say, US government for the US dollar. So who is the owner or behind the cryptocurrencies? How is it protected, or how is it generated?
So it varies from crypto to crypto. Right now, there are about 7,000 coins. Bitcoin is independent, right? Like the person or the group, we think it's a group, like it's a bunch of academics that decided to get together and issue it. Was started by an anonymous person called Satoshi Nakamoto. And he kind of laid the framework for everyone. So then Vitalik came around and he said, Vitalik is behind Ethereum. And he said that, but we could make this a programmable language. So that's why Ethereum is not trying to be a currency, but more like a web development platform, Web3 platform, I would say. So it varies from each currency to currency on who owns it and who runs it. But the ultimate authority is the foundation, that sits on even top of the founding company. And then the other thing is, like, if you look really deep into these projects and these crypto, once they're launched and trading on exchanges, then it's people like you and me and like anyone who's trading it, owning it, and then calling shots on it. So it's then that's what it makes completely decentralized, because even foundations don't get to have that much, they don't even hold that many tokens. So once it's launched and up and running and it's been around, because so there are two reasons behind, this movement at this point. One is, to be the framework for a digital currency. And then the biggest one is Web3. So that's something that normal people don't talk about, but that's something that where, the market actually, what really market wants. So the 7,000 currencies that you see on CoinMarketCap, they're not trying to be a US dollar. They're just trying to be a currency with their own ecosystem. So that's that's literally a tech topic that, we could probably get into like 6 months from now. But for everyday purposes, we only see stable coins like USDC, BUSD, Tether being as functional as, dollar at this point.
And these are being used as currency in some way or another. I've heard of people paying even gas with their crypto or with their
Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you go, so US is really behind at this, but Fed Reserve recently appointed CIO who went from TD Ameritrade. We all are very much friends, Sunaina Tuteja. So her job is to start a digital dollar. So US is behind. However, if you get out of US, if you just like walk around in Amsterdam, you will see small businesses accepting Bitcoin at this point. And China has already issued digital yuan for internal purposes. And our entire trading and investing ecosystem is done on stable coins, is done on cryptocurrencies. So, and like I mentioned, it's a $1 trillion market at this point. Wow. So it is used, it is being thoroughly used, but the shift from USD to digital completely is in process, and US is behind it. Probably even Iran, Venezuela, Malaysia will launch their centralized tokens first, then US at this point.
Wow. So how does one go about using it as money? So I have Coinbase account, and let's say I have some Bitcoin there, and if I wanted to go out today and do some shopping at a place that accepts it, how do I transfer it to them? Is there a different app for it?
No, you can just get their address, ask them what's the address that you would like to send your Bitcoin to for whatever copy that you're buying or gas, and they'll give you an address and you can transfer it.
Wow, directly from my Coinbase account.
Yeah, and then let me tell you something, not particularly Coinbase, but there are projects like BlockFi, for instance, that are working on BTC credit cards. So if you hold these crypto assets, you may as well just get a credit card that you can pay, things out of, and then transact on that credit card completely on chain. So that's also up and coming, I would say, in about 5 months or so. So you'll start seeing crypto credit cards as well.
Wow. Yeah, I really think this might be the future that we are headed to. It's kind of like,
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like when civilization switched from trading goods and gold and silver over to paper that doesn't really have any value in itself, but we all decided to give value, and this is kind of what the society is heading towards as in the future.
Yeah. You're right about that.
Yeah. And but there's a lot of cryptocurrencies. Even if you look at the stock market, there's really less than 3,000 companies that are trading on stock market. But to have over 7,000 coins, and probably more are coming, how would you restrain, or how would you go about buying something or investing in something? Like, would you pick a couple of them, and how would you know which ones to pick?
So if you're just investing purposes, if you just want your capital to sit on something, I would just look at top 10.
Okay.
Top 10, because they have the market cap, they have some sort of validity behind it, like funds are trading them, funds are holding them. That's top 10. But if you're trying to speculate the market, and if you're trying to learn more about the landscape, and if you're betting on projects, then others could follow. But just for sheer investing purposes, that's why Robinhood, PayPal, and a couple of others that are supporting crypto assets at this point only has like Bitcoin, ETH, like Litecoin, Bcash, just the cousins on top, because those are the only, I wouldn't say worth investing, but those are the safe investments at this point.
Okay. And I think that was my next question, where to buy it from. I think when I started looking at them, there was only 1 or 2 brokerages for Bitcoin, but now, or for cryptos, but now there's so many. So PayPal, you're able to buy it on PayPal, Robinhood, anything else?
Gemini, Binance.us, but that only works if you're outside of New York, and Coinbase.
Okay.
And if it's my own personal money, trust me when I say this, I do not even trust anything beside Gemini or Coinbase Pro.
Okay.
I highly, highly, highly recommend them. I know there's Kraken. I know there's Bittrex. And then, like I said, this market is a lot bigger outside of US.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have Binance, you have Huobi, you have BitMEX, you have thousands and thousands of exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, Gemini and Coinbase Pro are the ones that I highly recommend.
Okay. And then what are these wallets, and do you recommend getting those, and how complicated are those to use?
So if it's a hard wallet, like, you mentioned Ledger, there's Tezor, there's a couple of those. I personally won't recommend them, because if you lose the key, then you're done. You're done for life. There's no way to hack that out. So it all depends on the size of your investment. If let's say you've invested 10 to 20,000 in crypto, leave it on the exchange. You know what? Just like set up a 2FA, set up a strong password, leave it on your exchange. But if it's higher than that, then Coinbase and Gemini both actually offer custody. So you can custody it with them. That's the other thing. And if that's something that you're not even comfortable with, then hard wallet, yeah, it's a solution, but just make sure that, you've written that password at least like multiple times, and, it's around your house, in multiple ways, because there's no way to crack these hard wallets.
Mm-hmm. And the key is digital code, basically something that you would be entering on your computer.
Yeah, it's like a 25 word deep phrase.
Okay. And is custody same as FDIC insurance? I know Coinbase has that, right? It's FDIC insured. What is custody?
It's working on it. So Coinbase
they don't
is
have it
working
yet.
on. No, because it's tricky. It's providing insurance to crypto is extremely tricky, because there's no owner, right? Like you're the owner, I'm the owner. So there's no centralized owner. There's no Federal Reserve Bank of crypto. So, but custody basically means that here's my 10 Bitcoins, and I'm putting it in the custody, which is their hard wallet or their soft wallet, whatever Coinbase uses. Coinbase uses a lot of hard wallets. And then I would lock it up for 6 months. And after 6 months, I would want to just take them out. Just like a traditional bank, like just the way a bank offers custody to your assets, these guys are doing the same way.
Right, kind of like the CD, certified deposits with the banks. So it's like
there you go. Yeah,
lending money to a bank. And okay, interesting. Yeah. And so how safe is it to invest in cryptocurrencies? And is it the same investment guidelines that you would use for, let's say, stock market or other investments, or you got to take more precautions with crypto?
So if you're investing on, like I said, Coinbase, Gemini, and whatnot, like these US exchanges, yeah, the entire buying and selling process is extremely safe. But if you're talking about the mechanics of it, then these are volatile assets. But these days, even traditional markets are volatile. Like tech stocks are like all over the place. SPACs are like all over the place. Bonds, particularly. So they're a bit more volatile than that. I think we've crossed the threshold where people invested and lost all of the money and then gained all of the money back. Right now, it's like people investing, the money growing slowly because we're in a bull market, and just letting it grow or cashing out. So I think we've gone over the phase where you just invest and you forget because you lost that money.
Yes. And another term that I hear a lot with cryptos is blockchain. What is blockchain?
So cryptocurrencies are built on blockchain. That's the tech behind it. It's not like your AWS tech. It's not like regular programmable language tech. the tech behind this is called blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's been really helpful. Thank you so much. But could you just like summarize, let's say if somebody's coming up right now and they want to start investing in cryptocurrencies, what would you be your suggestion to a beginner, where to go to look up information or where to start?
So first of all, these days, New York Times and Wall Street Journal and Financial Times and even CNBC are doing all of the homework for us. So we don't, we're like at a pretty decent spot that way. But if you're really, really trying to dig deep, I've shared the link with you, but coinmarketcap.com, that lists all of the currencies and whatever they're working on, and their market cap, their pricing of what's it's trading at. That's if you're really trying to take a deep dive into it. Otherwise, if you're just investing and if you just want to safely invest, then look into what Robinhood or PayPal offers. Just invest in those tokens. But once you start deep diving, there's a lot of resources like on like on Twitter basically. Then we have Masari, we have Block Crypto, we have CoinDesk. There's a lot of publications, but those are for internal crypto purposes. Once you've kind of like gotten over across the bridge. But even just following on CNBC, because we have our friends often on CNBC talking about Bitcoin. So that gives like a good market exposure on where this market is headed.
And talking about Bitcoin, you think it's going to continue to climb as it has? If somebody has assets, would you recommend them looking into Bitcoin even for investment now at a high price?
Investment rule, like my investment rule is like, and this is something I even tell my husband, right? Like only invest what you can lose. Right. So it just goes for everything. But as far as Bitcoin goes, particularly, the thing is that, so this year, it's important to know that the reason Bitcoin got its publicity, like from the same people that, they were shitting at, like for instance, JP Morgan, he was trying to short the market back in 2018 or so. But now they're looking into issuing a JP coin, custodying these assets and whatnot. The reason it's gotten the attention, especially during pandemic, was because everyone realized that, look, Fed can keep on printing money over and over again, but crypto, once you've set up the algorithm that it's only 1 million tokens, then it's only 1 million tokens. So these guys are up to something. So first it became a hedge against inflation because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin in the planet on the world. There's no way of changing it. So it became a hedge against inflation. Then other funds were driven to it because it's extremely volatile and it's still inefficient. When I say inefficient, it's still a 10-year-old market at this point. It's not old. And most of the market growth has happened in past 5 years. So that's when funds got really, really involved. And then everyone just wanted to, be cool and hold it. But the prime reason was that probably Bitcoin is going to give them a higher return if US reopens, and which it has started to, and which we've started seeing, like, the fear of inflation, the looming growth curve. So that's why it has gone to the price where it's going to. And then the other thing is that, like traditional markets, we have BTC and ETH derivatives also, and CME trades them. So that also gives a lot of institutions exposure, to, these assets.
Thank you so much. It's still a very new thing and new language to learn. But I agree that the rules of investments are, I guess, kind of same. You have to be comfortable with losing your money if you're investing. So that's really helpful.
Exactly. Like, I mean, yeah, just don't lose faith, have faith. But yeah, keep it in mind that, even most promising ETFs have been taking a nosedive these days. So, I mean, this is still very much new.
Right. Thank you. Any other words of wisdom?
I don't have. I am nothing really. I mean, if anyone has any questions for out of your group, they can just like reach out to me, and I can guide them. But one thing I won't suggest, like, and this is something that I've replied over and over again. No particular coin is better than the other ones. They all are just trying to solve for different solutions. So if your friend told you about Cardano or something else, it doesn't mean that they're better than Bitcoin or anything. It's just that, it's different. So before investing, just look into on how different it is. And then again, if you can afford to lose money in it.
Thank you so much for your time, and I'll definitely be reaching out again. I'm sure more questions will pop up, and maybe we can do this again some other time.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Give my love to your kids, and hopefully I will see you once all of this ends, once we put the pandemic behind us.
Oh yes, definitely. I can't wait for that. Hopefully with the vaccine coming out, hopefully we'll have better times in the summer or by the end of this year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, take care, Saima. I'll speak to you soon.
You too. Bye. Bye.